All right, looks like that's everybody's gonna be here, right, Ed? Okay. Call the meeting to order and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America,
which stands one
nation,
with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
You're taking notes, aren't you? Okay. Chris, will you call the roll, please?
Yes, sir. Scott Meyer,
Here.
Amy Lawson,
Excuse.
not here. Chris McCray here. Ed Brand here. We have Dan via Zoom.
Hello.
Megan Brand.
Here.
Hey, Dan.
We do have a quorum. Look for a motion to approve the meeting agenda.
I make a motion that we approve the meeting agenda as written.
I'll second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the September 19th meeting.
Motion to approve the minutes in September 19th meeting.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
That motion carries. I gotta give Dan a second to acknowledge.
Yes, sorry, yes.
Nope, you're all. We have no old business. New business, RDC to consider adopting an annual spending plan for 2025 in accordance with Indiana code. Adam.
All right, so for this item, as I mentioned via email, this is a new state law that went into effect that requires an annual spending plan. And luckily, since Fortville is a part of the Redevelopment Association of Indiana, they had sent out a nice template for us that we could use. So I'd like to take the credit, but I won't. The template was put together by Barnes and Thornburg. And then, of course, I just filled in the numbers based on our particular situation. I also went ahead and updated our commitments spreadsheet too, since I had some time to delve into the various debt payments that would be made in 2025 and beyond. So hopefully that provides you all with at least the most accurate numbers that we can provide. So if you have any questions on the report, I'd be more than happy to address those questions. Thank you.
All righty, thank you. I'll start with Dan. Dan, you have any questions?
Yeah, Adam, on number C, capital expenditures contemplated by the Economic Development Plan. It says up to 3.8 million. My guess is that's our max. We don't plan on spending anywhere near that, correct?
Correct.
Just want to make sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We wanted to overshoot in terms of the maximum of we might spend, especially since this needs to be filed with DLGF.
Yep.
I wouldn't anticipate that we would spend that much, but that's why we added some verbiage to say potentially up to 3.8. And that's based on the various commitments that we have, and it's based on the income that we're expecting for 2025, along with the cash that you all have on hand.
Perfect. And then on L, it says expenditures from proceeds of bond for the residential housing development program or tax anticipation warrants, potentially up to 6.8. I know we're still early on in that. That number might slightly get a little larger, but I don't think we're locked in there either, because I know somewhere at the end of this, it says this is our best estimate as of right now, and we may have to make some adjustments, but I wanted to make sure that's just the best estimate we have available right now, correct?
Yes, that's all correct. The actual bond itself could be up to 8 million. Hopefully it'll
Thank you.
come in even lower than that. And then additionally, when you take into account the closing costs and what the actual net is from various estimates that I saw from Buzz, it brought it down to about 6.8 million. So that's where that
I
number
get it.
came, Buzz estimate.
That makes sense. That's total proceeds less the closing costs and professional fees and everything else. Then we're left with actual project costs. That makes sense. Thank you.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this report's just simply based on our plan at this point. They're all subject to change, right?
That's right. And as Dan pointed out, there is kind of a disclaimer at the end of the template that basically says this is our best estimate, our most accurate estimate. And if there was something that we needed to amend, we could do that. Update. You could approve an updated plan, and then we could upload that to DLGF's website. So.
Yeah. And you want to keep DLGF happy, so this is the right thing to do.
Yes, we do. We want to be in conformance with the law of the land.
Ed,
Alex, are you familiar with this document?
I am.
You had an opportunity to look it over?
I haven't seen the latest draft, but it's all very standard. Listening to what Adam's running through, as he said, it's pretty formulaic. It is an estimate, and just trying to comply with state law. So I'm comfortable with it as presented.
Thank you. I have nothing else.
Chris?
No, I think all of my questions have been answered. I'm good.
Okay, I am good as well. So I'll look for a motion.
Make a motion that we adopt the Fortville annual spending plan for calendar year 2025.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. That'll be it for new business. Next is review of financials. Have any questions on those?
None from me.
Ed?
I have none.
Chris?
No, sir.
The financials as submitted.
Make a motion that we approve the financials as submitted.
Oh, second.
I'll second. Chris, you go ahead and take that one.
I got it.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed?
Aye.
Those are approved. Approval of invoices. We have one.
Yes.
Make a motion that we approve the Krohn Associates bill for $1,890.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the invoices submitted. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Public comment.
Is this, the DLGF thing, is that new?
Yes.
Just start this year?
Yes. Yeah, it was passed in 2023 and has gone into effect now.
Is that it for public?
I-
Dave, did you have something?
Yeah, I was wondering, since we did that joint meeting, do we need to have minutes from that one too, where we kind of approved the loft project? I was just curious. Or is that going to be covered in the town council minutes?
So I can jump in here. I talked to Missy about those minutes earlier this week. They're still working on the draft. My thought was we'd have
Okay.
the town council approve on Monday, and then at your next meeting, the RDC could approve the minutes as well.
Thank you, Adam or Alex.
Staff comments.
Yes, there was one item that was brought to my attention today from the town manager. Apparently, the Public Works Department is in need of a bucket truck, cherry picker. And this piece of equipment, I'm told, will be helpful to change out the street light bulbs, for example, for all the brand new street lights that the town will be maintaining along Broadway, for example, and other areas within the town. So what he is hoping for tonight, if you're amenable to it, is to approve a basic a commitment, if you will, of up to 50,000 for the price of a cherry picker. And also, Joe also mentioned that he's been looking at good deals on used vehicles. And as you know, trying to buy a used vehicle, or really any vehicle, sometimes they can go quickly. And so if he were to have a specific vehicle in mind, which he did by the time he tried to go through the proper channels here to get it all approved, the guy had already sold it. So what he specifically would like is just a commitment of up to 50,000 and provide him with the authorization to order that vehicle.
What would be the difference between one that's available and a new one?
That I don't know.
You know,
They're gonna be a lot more.
Yeah, I would say it'd be at least double.
Ed, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I talked to Joe for a while earlier today about this, and that's what he said. It's probably double or more that if the town were looking at a new one.
And I am familiar with the one that he looked at that was in that ballpark, and it was a nice vehicle, was in good shape, had decent mileage on it, but he couldn't act fast enough. So for what I know about it, I think that's a pretty reasonable buy for a good used one.
should we put a cap on it?
50,000 is what he's asking.
Well, I mean, if he finds another one for 55.
But the reason why 50,000 is important is in order to fall under the small purchases statute, so that we don't have to do ask for, put it out for bid and go through that process. It
competitive
needs
bids.
to be under $50,000.
Make a motion that we give our town manager permission to look for a bucket truck for 50,000 or under.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve up to 50,000 for a bucket truck for the town. Any discussion?
Couple comments.
Sure.
I would ask the town, Joe specifically, to consider a couple of things. Number one, with a used bucket truck, I know several individuals in the business with used cranes and bucket trucks, and when something breaks, it's not cheap. The expenses on those are very high, just because there's not a lot of mechanics out there that can work on those types of things. The other thing I would ask Joe to consider would be, in lieu of a bucket truck, maybe a lift trailer of some sort. You could get one for a fraction of the cost of a bucket truck, something that could be towed behind one of the town trucks that they already own. And just the upfront cost of those would be significantly less than a bucket truck, but would serve the same purpose. It would get somebody,
Makes sense.
15 feet in the air.
Mhm.
Yeah, it seemed like something like that was discussed, and it was the manpower of one versus the other and the lift of one versus the other. That the several purposes the truck could serve, the lift didn't necessarily go as high. But I stand by what you say,
Absolutely.
that I think it's something worth researching if he hasn't,
There for sure could be situations where a bucket truck
but I don't think
could
it's,
get them at a different angle than a lift would.
yeah, I don't think
But if it's
so.
just
unreasonable.
the weight of a light bulb and an individual, then yeah, I think a trailer would serve that. But to your point, yes, a lot of times that would take potentially two workers
Right.
in lieu of one, et cetera. So just a couple things to
Yeah,
consider.
I think the
The
point.
big thing is the maintenance.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, it's just one more piece of equipment to maintain.
The points are definitely well taken, and I will pass that on to Joe.
I'm all for buying toys, and so I'm all for Joe getting a bucket truck. Just a couple things to consider, though. I'll help Joe look for one. How about that?
Do I need
Good to
to
go.
amend?
That's just part of the discussion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Out here.
All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Any other staff comments?
No, sir.
Any board comments? Start with Dan.
No, nothing here.
Nothing.
I'm good.
All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at
I'll
46.
second that motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries. We're adjourned. Thank you all.
See
Thank
you, folks.
And enjoy your trip.
Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it. Alex, thank
Bye,
you.
guys. See ya.
That's enough for you there?
I gave you 15 and you went 6.
Well, that's because I have my.